Greetings and salutations, ladies, men, folk, and non-binary viewers. Welcome to episode 87 of Word Ninjas Live. I am your instigator of literary and creative productivity and insanity and distractions and a ridiculous amount of news links today, Charles. And joining me tonight are Will
Hello.
and Calvin.
Oh, hi.
Everyone else is off doing diabolical machinations, because reasons. But you got the three of us tonight, and as I mentioned, we have a ridiculous amount of highlights for this week, so we've actually decided to skip talkie points because we have enough to talk about already. And speaking of things to talk about, Will actually found a very interesting article about something called ebooks, tree ebook, book
It's not.
tree
It's not.
thing.
It's not an article. It's information I learned that is something that we should. I just wanted to make sure people knew. There is a website called eBooks Tree. It is a. It's ebookstree.net. There's a dash between ebooks and tree, and they are a website where you can find and download your favorite ebooks, which on the surface sounds fine and normal and handy and dandy, until we discovered that they were stealing people's fan fiction and selling it on their website without the express permission of the original authors.
That's
Which is,
all sorts of not legal.
it is all sorts of not legal, but they're doing it. And we confirm that they're doing it because Ed found a portion of his own fan fiction for sale on ebookstree.net.
I can only imagine how that went over.
It didn't go over well. So, let's see, I'll try to remember. I'm going to screen share this real quick. Screen share, sharing the screen. This is the website. And if you are curious to see, especially if you write on, what is it called? It's AO3, which is an archive of our own, which is a place where a lot of people like to store their fan fictions and slash fictions and whatever other little stories they want to write, and then share them with other people. What was that?
I didn't realize that actually stood for something. I just thought it was always referenced as just AO3, and that's what it was.
I was informed that it stands for an archive of our own.
Huh.
Or archive of our own, and the O3 is of our own.
Cool.
So what you can do to check to see if any of your fan fictions have been snagged, you can go to the search bar and put in your pen name or your name, or typically whatever name you used when you posted the story up. Like I would probably be under this, and do a search. And so you didn't find anything for me, but if it did find anything, it would have listed the fan fictions here. Like I know I did a search just for my last name, and a whole bunch of stuff came up, but at the same time, oh, it's not working now. It's being cheeky.
Do Smith.
Smith might be good. I found a whole bunch of stuff under my last name. Weird.
Did you break it?
Maybe I did. That could be for the best. But if you go for it, you can search under your name or your handle or your pen name or however you post your stories, and check to see if any of your stuff is here on their website. You see they have a whole bunch of names here, and most of these are just author names. And if they do, there are steps that you can take to have your story pulled, because again...
Can you actually go back to that? The last listing of names? Because one of those was familiar. The second column, third from the top, Greg Bear.
Greg Bear.
I feel like those are some books from Bayan. like one of the regular book publishers.
Hmm.
Because I feel like I've read him, and if that's true, I can only imagine how that's going to go over.
Well, what I know is that, again, it is illegal for other people to sell your stuff without your permission, and there are safeguards around it. I've included in the show notes 2 links. I don't have them set up. I should have had them set up.
I was
Goodbye.
mistaken. He's actually under Tor books, but yeah, those are legitimately published books from like the 80s and 90s.
Hmm.
That's not cool.
Unless they got the rights to have them.
I would
But
be amazed.
the one thing here is we have a link to the Tumblr page F Yeah Copyright Law, which is this particular page has some information on what you can do to get your story pulled from that website, how to find it, and how to have it removed using a DMCA.
Hmm.
And you have to be particular about this because, again, they're apparently being kind of underhanded about acquiring and keeping and selling these fan fictions and stories. So if you don't post your story under your legal name and you file the DMCA with your legal name, they'll use that as a loophole. Even if
Lovely.
you can prove that that is your handle, which, you know, if they counterclaim your DMCA, then it has to go to the
Hmm.
courts and it gets real messy.
Yeah.
And there is another link I had to another Tumblr page. Again, a little bit of the behind the scenes. This one has some more information.
Perversion is fun.
It's just the Tumblr page, but this post has information about getting it removed. It looks like it was updated just yesterday.
Hmm. But still something worth keeping an eye out for.
Yes. And there are websites like this says here that an archive of our own is aware of the fact that this website is doing it, but they can pull from anywhere. If you're on Tumblr, if you're on LiveJournal, if you post your stories anywhere for free, it doesn't hurt just to check, just to make sure,
Hmm.
because you don't want anyone selling your work and not getting paid for it. At the very least, you should get paid for it.
Right.
And that's
And
me.
stop screen sharing. So yeah, the website in question is ebooktree.net, ebook dash, whatever the middle dash is. I don't know the official name for that character.
Hyphen.
Yeah, hyphen.
Yeah.
ebook-tree.net. And just go there and give a search to see if they have your stuff. And I just, because I figured there's probably a lot of people that follow us that write fan fiction and stuff, and they might want to know just in case.
Hmm.
And also, don't buy stuff from their website if they're going to be stealing work from other people. That's not cool.
Yeah. All right. And let's see. Next up on the list, it's not really worth screen sharing, just worth commentating on. Apparently, for World of Warcraft, they're kind of bringing back old dungeons via Timewalking mode, which apparently is just more mechanics than actually dealing with the overall story or plot of the verse, which is interesting as a fellow gamer, but since it's not really affecting the plot, it's not really worth commenting on much further. But if you're into World of Warcraft, unlike any of us at this point, definitely worth checking out, I would think.
I've done at least half these dungeons back in my playing days.
I have done none of them because I can't get out of, I think it was Orgrimmar I was stuck in for like 2 hours. I couldn't find the freaking exit.
The big giant door that is
Couldn't.
clearly marked on your map.
It's me.
Fair point. I've played Borderlands with you. You get lost in a paper bag.
Probably has happened. But yeah, the link for that is in the show notes if you're curious.
The dungeons listed here are all from Outlands and Wrath of the Lich King.
So I feel like that's getting comparatively old school at this point.
Those are the first and second expansions. Now they're up to their Outlands, Wrath, Cataclysm, Pandaria. Fifth expansion.
Hmm. All right. Next one up is, granted, one that I found, but something that Calvin appreciates, I believe, because it's on typography.
Yes. Typography is a thing that I enjoy immensely. And I'm going to screen share. And hopefully I will screen share the right screen.
No screen sharing
And
porn.
no promises.
This is the family-friendly podcast. There we go.
Family friendly, though we're going to be talking about a-holes. But not the a-holes that you're probably thinking about. There's a design professor named Curtis Canham who is currently running a Kickstarter for a typography book he's working on all about a-holes. Now, a-holes in this sense refer to the negative space in capital and lowercase a's in your standard issue fonts. Now, he's putting this book together as a nod to typography over the last 100 or so years, and also as an educational book.
And there's an actual preview to the book, which shows, I want to say, like 20 pages or so worth of it that were really impressive looking.
Yeah, the link to the book preview is in the last word and last paragraph of this article here, and the link to the Kickstarter is also in the last paragraph. He's seeking $7,500 to get this book off the ground, and I am definitely interested in it.
And for a full color, effectively art book for the style it's going to have to be published in to make it or do it justice, I feel like 7,500 is comparatively cheap to get that accomplished.
It
'Cause,
sounds like he has everything, like basically everything down pat that he needs. It just sounds like he just needs that initial push to get everything printed and off the ground.
yeah, that's probably what most of the funding's for, to, like the physical publishing and shipping and stuff.
Ah, that is large. There we go. Over 90,000 typefaces available today and 25,000 a-hole families. That's a lot of a-holes. It's about typography and it has my kind of humor in it. I'm definitely going to be throwing money at this Kickstarter.
If I can afford it, I'm going to toss some money towards the Kickstarter, and if not, I'm going to at least try and get a copy of the book at some point because this does look both fascinating and fun.
So if any of our viewers and listeners out there are interested in typography or double entendre, this is the book for you.
All right, next up, it's my turn. All right. Now, last week, I believe I tossed a news piece about the psychology of inspirational women focusing on Katniss Everdeen, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
That is apparently an ongoing series of articles at over at the Mary Sue. I was not aware of that, even though it clearly states so right here. And retroactively, they've also done foci, a focus on Storm, Cora, Carol and Michonne, Buffy, and Katniss so far. I kind of want to go back at some point when I have some free time to check out the one on Buffy, Cora, and Storm. I'm not familiar with Carol and Michonne, so I'll probably look at that one too, just so I can find out. But it's as an ongoing series, it's still just as fascinating as the one that we showed last week. And there are spoilers for each particular one, but if it's really important stuff, they do seem to generally have a little cover over that block of text. You have to scroll over to see it. I'm just scrolling quickly because some of this actually is spoilery stuff for the Arrow television series, but it's definitely worth going to their website, checking out some of these characters if you're a Korra fan or just Avatar in general, X-Men, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All right, just who are Walking Dead. Okay. Fair enough. If you're a Walking Dead fan, they have one. So it's a series worth checking out. And I'm curious to see who else they'll be putting into that series going forward. And the next one up is 50 Great Genre-Bending Books Everyone Should Read, which, as it says, 50 books, so it's kind of a long list, but it's interesting to see just how many genre-bending books they toss on here, and how many I have not read, but at least acknowledged. Like, of course, Neil Gaiman's going to be on there. He just crosses everything. American Gods was a fantastic book. You can kind of see how that crosses a few genres. Definitely worth reading if you're like a Terry Pratchett fan or Douglas Adams fan, that style. Cloud Atlas, of course, one of the classics. Oop, too fast. I have not heard of Gun with Occasional Music, but the cover art amuses me. First novel
Title
in
amuses me.
Letham's first novel in half hardboiled crime fiction, half bonkers science fiction, or whatever it is you call it when your smart-talking informant is a gun-slinging kangaroo.
Yep, definitely interested.
Sold.
I want it. I want to track that one down now. Of course, Magic for Beginners. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, also good. I haven't heard of these before, but each one gives a little blurb of what it's about and how it potentially crosses genres. And it really does cover basically every genre out there in a couple of these books here and there. So, China Medieval, too fast. And again, there are 50 of these. House of Leaves? Yeah, I guess. I heard the Time Traveler's Wife was fantastic, but I never got around to that one. And surprisingly, it's not on my shelf, or piles, or stacks of books to read. Of course, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That one's fun. Oh, Haruki Murakami. Nice. But yeah, it's a fun list. 50 different books. It's fun to at least... The Princess Bride. It's a fun list to see which ones you've read, which ones you at least recognize, which ones you've never heard of before. So if you want something that doesn't necessarily fit in just one genre or one style, ooh, The Book Thief. That one was fantastic and downright sad. Because what the main character is death, so of course it's going to be sad. So many books that I'm not allowed to have because I'm sure Justin will get cranky. I'm sure he's cranky right now wherever he is and he just doesn't even understand why. But yes, go check that out if you're searching for genre bending books. And actually, the next one is Calvin's because I think he wanted to claim that one.
Yes, I shall claim that one.
All right. I said take me off of screen share and then send it to Calvin so he can be on screen share.
There we go.
You're up.
All right. The website Inc. Posted an article about over 100 free college courses, ebooks, training videos, and apps and various tools to help out marketers and salespeople, and basically people who want to sell themselves in various forms. You have college courses from study.com, UPenn, MIT, which is awesome, the Open University, Small Biz University, and University of California, all about marketing, data mining, sales strategies. It's looking through some of these courses, there's a few things that we probably need to be looking at ourselves.
Might, quite possibly, perhaps, maybe, definitely. And even if you think of yourself primarily as a writer, it is useful to at least peruse some sales or marketing based classes if you're thinking of doing self publishing or even self promoting at any point in time. Because there are some pretty interesting tips and tricks and little tidbits of info you should realize for how the industry works.
Perfect example of an ebook that we should all probably read. Why is selling so expletive hard?
Because reasons.
Hmm. Oh, hey, attract customers using Facebook.
We could use that.
Business planning guide, handling objections workbook.
Could use that.
Hmm. Understand and use Google. Well, as an IT person, I feel like I've mastered the art of Google. You've got sales training videos, customer relationship management software, which is
And they're
great,
free.
and it's free, which is even better. Oh, yes.
It's probably worth perusing some of them just to see the comparisons between them all, but the fact that there are that many free ones available is fantastic because those things are not cheap normally.
Right. Yeah, my company uses Salesforce, and
Ooh.
yeah, I don't think I have to go further. There's also customer service tools. I believe I saw something, yeah, a couple of HR management tools, which is fantastic. Ooh, Discuss. I love Discuss. Discuss is a great community management slash commenting software. I've been using for a couple of different websites.
I've
It's
seen
held
that
up.
been popping up more and more just everywhere. It's almost becoming a standard.
It's becoming a standard because of how well it integrates with so many different um, uh, uh, content management system softwares like WordPress, Joomla, Drupal. Like a good 25% of the internet runs on WordPress, and Discuss integrates very seamlessly with it. We I set Discuss up on Riffraff, and it works fantastically. And I've set it up for a couple of different websites. It's pretty much the go-to. Let's see, we got sales writing tools, email power tools, which is something that we're going to have to look into.
Hmm. And the sales writing tools are also useful in just general business writing because it has stuff like Hemingway or the website Hemingway not on there. It doesn't have actual Hemingway. That would be weird.
Hmm.
But and stuff like Grammarly and hey, Evernote.
Hey, look at that.
But yeah, it's useful to have websites like that where you can like copy and paste your text into it and it'll look at it and let you know like, well, this is a cliche or this could be worded differently, this feels weird, stuff like that.
Good grief. There's quite a plethora of free social media tools out there. I'm familiar with a few of them. Uh, I've been trying to find the most ideal social media management software for a good while. There's so much out there that you can choose from, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Um, I'm just gonna have to continue doing my due diligence to figure out which one would work best for us in our future endeavors. But there are plenty to choose from, and that's a beautiful thing.
Mm. And they're all free.
And they're all free.
Well, at least the ones on that list anyway.
Ooh, survey and form builder. Gotta keep that one in mind. But yeah, we're gonna have this link in our show notes, so you should definitely check this one out if you're looking to sell yourself or just looking to amass a bit of knowledge.
And speaking of amassing knowledge and even more links, back to me. No, wait, back to screen share. The next one up is technically it's focusing on 16 startups that are poised to disrupt the education market. But really, it's 16 organizations that are really, well, some have been around for a little while now, and some are up and coming. Where if you're in college or looking to get into college or are just into academia and learning stuff, these are coming in surprisingly useful. And I really hope that some of these build up more. And I wish I had them when I was in college, either time. Because I mean, you got stuff like Rafter, which is digitizing the books finally, thank God, and that helps save money all around.
It's about bloody time.
Yeah, and Piazza looked very interesting to me. It's an online study room where you can anonymously ask questions to teachers and other students, and kind of like some of the other social media stuff out there. I forget the specific one. You can upvote questions and answers.
Quora?
Yeah, that I think probably.
Yep, I was slightly off topic. I was thumbing through Quora today and found an interesting answer that was posted by, of all people, Hans Zimmer about the feasibility of having a formal music education to become a composer,
Hmm.
and it
Interesting.
and it validated um, a lot of my feelings and the way I've been going about writing music.
Cool.
I'll, t- I'll tell you more about it after the show. Sorry to derail a bit.
Not at all. We're good at derailing. But yeah, it's interesting that we're getting to a point technology wise and community wise that this is becoming so much easier to do and it's needed. And oh yeah, I think it was Course Hero was another one I wrote down to look at. It's an online source of study guides, class notes, exams, flashcards, tutoring services, That would be freaking awesome to utilize. Regardless of if it's specifically for the exact textbook you're using or if it's just for that course load style material, it would be a really nice extra resource. And if you just want to learn about particular subjects because you're weird like me and you want to learn everything. Dev Bootcamp, if you want to learn more about coding, not for me. I have tried.
Yep, that is for me.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like Udacity and Coursera have been around for a little while now, and I know I've used them here and there for various stuff just because they have so much. It's pretty much information overload for both of those sites.
Nice.
And like Carnegie Mellon is compiling an open learning initiative. Same with more or less with Sailor.org. And the last few are more just accreditation, something like that.
Yep, accreditation.
Services to just sort of accredit all of these various websites and services and whatnot so you can better understand which ones are more worthwhile than others. That's kind of an extra layer to it all, which is interesting, but chances are most people out there are going to be more interested in the actual resources providing either discount or free textbooks or study guides or just interesting information. So yeah, if you're in an academic mood, this is definitely a link worth checking out because these are the ones making a difference out there right now. And next up is 5 tips on writing flash fiction, which would have been relevant last week with our flash fiction topic, but I didn't see it last week, so here it is now. And the 5 tips were actually pretty good and make me want to try writing flash fiction whenever I get a free moment. But tip 1, don't try to write a 250-word story. Write a 400-word story and cut it back, which is good because a lot of people do tend to overwrite in their first draft, and it's better to cut back in editing than have to write 250 words or 200 words and then figure out how do I expand this and all that. Use a setting or a character with which your reader will be familiar. It's easy when you only have 250, 300 words, you have to really connect with the reader very quickly on, so that makes sense. Use a familiar storytelling structure. So I would guess the effect is beginning, middle, end, or at least middle, end with enough implied beginning to be able to follow along. Make use of your title. It should add to your story, not just label it. The title counts as part of your story, so you can really take advantage of that and help it bring context to your short story, or flash fiction, I guess it would be, or rather than just a label. And then the whole concept of starting in media res, or in the middle of your plot, not actually at the beginning. When you only have a few hundred words, that really does make sense, and it's a technique utilized by countless writers, so it's perfectly valid, perfectly understood, regardless of what some very cranky English teachers may say. It's worth trying out, especially in flash fiction and short stories, because every word counts. So don't bother with a prologue or an intro or a prelude or anything like that. Just dive right in. And it's been a little while since we've done various bundles, so we're a bit behind. There's 3 now, and they're all interesting, which is a problem. Story Bundle currently has 2 that we have not covered. The latest one is Immerse or Die, which is a very dangerous one for me because every single book on here I want.
It's not like you didn't just buy a whole bunch of books over the weekend.
Shush. Justin doesn't need to know. Not that he'll listen to this recording, most likely. I looked at the details for every single one of these books, and I want every single one of them. And let's see, the Immersion or Die is $12 for all 9 books, so it's comparatively cost effective, as they usually are. But for this one, you have The Crimson Sun by Russ Linton, Pay Me Bug by Christopher Wright, The Improbable Rise of Singularity Girl by Bryce Anderson, The Mad Tinker's Daughter by J.S. Morin, which I think was the one I want the most out of all 9 of these, Strictly Analog by Richard Levesque. Actually, that one was good too. Century of Sand by Christopher Ruse, Untimed by Andy Gavin, The Commons, Book 1, The Journeyman by Michael Allen Peck, and Brotherhood of Delinquents by Jefferson Smith, which also looked really good.
Frank, I may end up buying this bundle.
If you don't, I will. And we'll share.
Cool.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think I wanted just for Mad Tinker's Daughter and The Improbable Rise of Singularity Girl. Those sound intriguing to me.
Well, if it's just those two, you can do whatever price you want. It's only if you pay $12 or more, you get all 9.
Okay.
And since those 2 are not bonus ones, you can pay $1 for all 5 books on top, if you so choose.
Cool.
And the other story bundle that we never covered off was the Dynamite Ultimate Heroes comics collection. And there's still 2 weeks on this one, so it's not like we're doing it last minute or anything, but this one is all semi-dangerous for me because of certain series on here, but you have stuff like Project Superpowers by Alex Ross and Jim Kruger, The Hollows, a Hololand graphic novel by Amanda Hawking, Tony Lee, and Stevie Uy. Yeah, that's UI. There's Legendary, with 2 R's, a steampunk adventure collection, which looks really good, by Bill Willingham. There's going to be a lot of Red Sonja stuff on here, just as a warning, but the first one on here so far is Red Sonja Unchained Collection. Peter Brett, Walter Giovanni, and Jack Jadson. And the Complete Alice in Wonderland Collection, of course by Lewis Carroll, but also dealing with Leah Moore, John Ripion, and Erica Awano. I have a couple issues of this back when it was just an issue at a time, and it was really well done. So the fact that it's finally complete now, I kind of want it. Bob's Burgers #1 by Mike Olson and Brad Rader. Vampirella Volume 1, Our Lady of Shadows by Nancy Collins and Patrick Birkenkotter. The Essential Painkiller Jane Collection, Jimmy Palmiotti and Joe Quesada. Mercy Thompson, Moon Called, Volume 1 by Patricia Briggs. I have some friend who talked about that one a lot and said it was a fantastic series. Can't remember who that was. You have the Legends of Red Sonja collection, Gail Simone, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and more. I guess because it's collections. Another Red Sonja, She-Devil with a Sword Omnibus, Volume 1. Michael Avon Oeming, Mel Ruby, and more. The Damnation of Charlie Wormwood, issues 1 through 5. Christina Blanche, Chris Carr, and Chi. Okay. The Dresden Files, and it's the War Cry collection. I don't think I've read that one yet. Of course, Jim Butcher, and then Mark Powers and Carlos Gomez. You have Jungle Girl Season 3, #1, by Frank Cho, Doug Murray, and Jack Jadson. More Project Superpowers, Black Cross #1 by Warren Ellis and Colton Worley. The Reanimator, Issue 1 by Keith Davidson and Randy Valiente. I wouldn't mind getting that, but preferably as the full collection because The Reanimator is a very fun movie So I'm kind of intrigued as to how they're going to put it in graphic novel form. More Red Sonja, Volume 1 of The Queen of Plagues. Again, Gail Simone and Walter Giovanni. Lady Rawhide and Lady Zorro. I didn't know there was a Lady Zorro. By Shannon Eric Denton and Ray Villegas. The font is too tiny to read A's versus O's. The Art of Ramona Fradon, edited by Robert Greenberger. And A Game of Thrones #1. Is this the actual book or it's the graphic novel representation of A Game of Thrones? Okay. All of that for $15 or more. If you do 14 or less, you get just the top 10. But if you do 15 or more, you get 20 books. That's not too shabby.
This is very tempting.
Yeah, they're bad, aren't they?
Very. And the thing about ebooks is it's hard to read on a laptop or a desktop. It just doesn't feel the same. Like, I'm thinking about getting a tablet just to read all the ebooks that I've amassed over the last couple of years.
I keep forgetting that you don't have a tablet.
Well, I had one, but it was a jury-rigged Android tablet that was once a WebOS tablet.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
And it's large and unwieldy, and the screen is terrible. So I need something better.
Yeah, I think on a tablet it's much easier to read, especially as you'll get a decent representation of the color and resolution for graphic novels and stuff. I haven't really played around with it too much on my tablet. I should do so just to see what it's like. All of the ebooks that I get from these series, I just toss on my Kindle because most of the time it's just text. I haven't really played around with the graphic novel stuff. But yeah, I have trouble reading them on a laptop screen as well, which is probably why I haven't gotten to any of the graphic novel stuff I've gotten.
Mm.
Speaking of graphic novels, there's one more.
Oh,
Over at the Humble Bundle, they just reset it today. This is the Underground Book Bundle, which is primarily... Oh, that's why the resolution was so weird. I had a funky size. This is primarily art-based or just really weird stuff. So on this one, I'm comparatively safe. I hope. Did I write any notes down? Oh, yeah, I did. Never mind, I take that back. But in this one, you have... Shush, you.
I'm sorry.
Shush. No making fun of the boss.
No, I'm reading one of the bonus books.
Oh.
That one caught me off guard. I'm sorry.
We'll get there. Starting off the list is Mitch O'Connell, The World's Best Artist by Mitch O'Connell. You also have The Original Art of Basil Wolverton by Basil Wolverton. Pop Surrealism, The Rise of Underground Art, edited by Kirsten Anderson. That one looks really cool just to have. I'm not sure how it would look as a digital version, though. I kind of want that as a physical book on my shelf or a coffee table.
Mm.
A Cynic's Guide to a Rich and Full Life by Mario De Giorgio. Revolutionary Letters by Diane DePrima. And if you pay the average price, which fluctuates, it's currently at $8.17, not $18.17. The Status Factory, The Art of Ron English by Ron English. Man's Ruin, The Posters and Art of Frank Kozik by Frank Kozik. Do you see a trend here? Forbidden Activities for Neglected Children. That's the one that I notated. Why did I notate that one? Oh yeah, it's a coloring book with very weird illustrations. So that's right up my alley. But one book amidst all of these isn't enough for me to justify purchasing them all. when all the others make me want to buy them. You also have the Gangsta Rap Coloring Book
That's what I was laughing at.
by AJ. 48 pages of line drawings of gangsta rappers that you can color in as you please. You
This
also
is
go ahead.
this is all kinds of wonderful.
The catch is you'd have to print it from your computer or something, I would think, so you can color it in. Unless you can somehow overlay it into some editing software so you can color it in digitally.
It would be fun either way.
You also got Arab in America, or Arab in America, depending on your pronunciation, by Tufik El Rasi. And then if you pay 15 or more, you get High Fructose Collected Edition, volumes 1 through 3, edited by Ann Owens. It's a very weird magazine series, so if you're into some weird, trippy stuff, that might be up your alley. And there's also Tales of the San Francisco Cacophony Society, edited by Kevin Evans, Kerry Galbraith, and John Law. That's also weird and trippy, but in a different style. And those are all the various book bundles. There's one more link in the highlights reel. We're almost there. This was brought to my attention yesterday. There is an online-ish convention called Indie Recon, which is coordinated by the Association for Independent Authors, I think it is. And they are having panels today, tomorrow, Friday. It's free to register. And if you can catch it live, they have actual video of the panels. But they're also archiving the actual discussion points and stuff for, they didn't really specify how long, but most likely at least a month or two. So, like, well, don't make these mistakes that first-time self-published authors make was one of the panels for today. Now, while we missed the actual video, it actually has effectively the show notes, as it were, for that panel. So you can check it out for free of all the various bits and pieces that they talk about and promote and discuss and recommend. So it's worth checking out if you have the time. Maybe wait until this weekend once all the articles are posted, unless you actually have time to watch the live streams. So that was actually pretty interesting, and I'm going to take some time this weekend, hopefully, maybe, possibly, perhaps, to check some of that out. And those are all of the highlights for this week. That is why we skipped talkie points. Goodness, that was a lot. But hey, we're all caught up now. And that means it's time to talk productivity and inspiration. Yay! Let's see. I was somewhat productive this week. Mostly this weekend, because there were semi-impromptu crew shenanigans. And there were totally no books or barns or anything like that that went on. Of course not. Who would think such a thing?
Never.
And as I wrote, there were gardens of olives. Finally.
Cross that off the bucket list.
That was forced onto my bucket list. I don't know why everyone is so astounded that before now I've never been to an olive garden.
For us, it was an excuse to go to Olive Garden.
Hey, any reason's a good reason to go to the Olive Garden, man.
Apparently. Yeah, that was fun. And we got NSFWN content recorded.
Yeah, we did.
I look forward to hearing that.
I look forward to editing that.
Mm. I think, considering the recording is mainly me, there's actually very little swearing in it, comparatively.
Mm.
Thankfully, it is audio only.
Yeah.
And
You'd
it is
have to
also.
charge for video of that.
I would pay not to have video of that. And our poor listeners have no context for any of this yet.
They'll just have to wait till the next Not Suitable for Word Ninjas podcast to come out next month.
I gotta post today's. I gotta do that after the show. We also realized that the Word Ninjas book needs an update. It's already become pretty dated for various reasons, so I've been taking a good hard look at what we have versus what we want. That's probably going to be on my productivity list for a couple of weeks or months as we sort that out. And someone, she will remain nameless, I can talk, really, got me into the Throne of Glass series after pestering me for a week or so. Which is a problem because I looked and that series isn't complete yet.
Ooh.
There's like one book coming out in September and then one or two more books after that.
Read slowly.
I can't. It has to be discussed.
Oh.
But yeah, those are my productivity things from last week. Basically, from Saturday on, I was productive.
That's a good thing.
Hey, Will, what have you been up to?
A lot of audio editing.
Sorry.
Since, let's see, just the way the dates fell, the next A Word Ninjas Live audio edit was due on Tuesday. So I had to have that done by Monday. But then the Not Suitable for Word Ninjas was due today, so I had to have that finished tomorrow. So they just happened to be back-to-back this week. That's alright, because the Not Suitable for Word Ninjas audio was from your Minicon, where we have a bit too much to drink and then play Dirty Minds, the board game.
Oh God, it's that.
Yep.
Oh. Geez, that's discouraging that neither of us are looking forward to that. Well,
Oh no.
simultaneously looking forward to and not looking forward to it.
It was entertaining to re-listen to. Though I had to cut out quite a bit of drunken mumbling that just didn't make any sense.
Let me guess, it was from me.
Well, you did have the demon plum wine.
Fair point.
And you'll just have to listen to the podcast to find out who won the game of Dirty Minds.
I don't think anyone wins that game.
Everyone wins but the winner. Excuse me. Other than that, survived the visit with the Fearless Leader this weekend.
Somehow.
We went to all of the Barnes books, where there were hundreds of thousands of books available in several barns. People who don't know, there's actually a store called the Book Barn, which is literally a barn full of books, used books that are for sale. Many of them were like $1, which is very dangerous.
Incredibly.
I think the most expensive book that wasn't a rare collector's book was like $5.
Yeah, the most expensive one I picked up was $5.
Yeah, and then there's a couple like rare, limited, first printing collector's books that are expensive, but understandably expensive considering, again, they're like first printing, first edition, really rare copies.
Some of those are worth more than what FCW is worth.
Yeah. But they can stay behind their plexiglass cases at the Book Barn.
Yep.
And let's see. Also, I started working on the next chapter of Roommate. At the start of the chapter, the hardest part for me started. And I'm working on it despite other ideas for one-off short stories and whatnot. I was going to call them flash fictions, but then that site said flash fiction was 250 words, and I can't write anything in only 250 words. I'm usually pushing at least 1,000 words.
We don't even do our show notes in under 250 words.
So, yeah, that's pretty much been my week. Audio editing and writing. And Olive Garden.
And how about Calvin?
So I was more productive than I was expecting to be. I I have some ideas for Infinity's Light Music in the works, including an action theme, a drum and bass based action theme.
I'm intrigued.
It's a drum and bass action theme in 7/8 time.
Okay.
Without any context, it sounds funky, but it works. It works really well too.
Huh. I look forward to it.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Let's see. I gave the Full Coverage Writers web server a much needed update, even though that one took a couple of tries. I was very happy I got that out of the way, and it looks like the server is still up and running, so
Yay.
I'm very happy about that. And sometime last week, my web hosting company told me that uh, my hosting package was getting ready to expire, but they were trying to force me to upgrade to a more expensive package, so I told them to piss off and join the new hosting company. I joined the web hosting company that we use for the Full Coverage Writers server, so now I have my own personal fancy cloud server.
Says you. I'm still getting the emails.
Wait, what?
I'm still getting email notifications on stuff like that. I need to forward the rest of those to you.
Yeah, for some reason, even though I did not use any Full Coverage Writers based email address, CJ's been getting every single email about my new server.
I have 3 of them now.
I,
I've sent 2 to you, so I guess not the latest one.
I don't get that. And somehow me starting my own server borked the Full Coverage Writers server.
What did you do?
You saw how actually let me not say that. I think I actually figured out what happened to our websites. I think the last update I put in changed the configuration settings,
Ah.
and at that point I couldn't figure out which setting it changed, which setting it updated. But after putting together my server, I figured out what it was. So if that ever happens again, which I hope to God it doesn't, I know where to look to make all the changes. So that was a fun, strange exercise. Thank God I backed up the server before I did that last update, because we would have been pretty ass backwards. Well, I would have been. So that's been my week.
All right. And although it's not productive, it is kind of inspirational. And I forgot to add it to the list because I did. It's me. Today, no, not today, yesterday. I didn't get to look at it until today. We happened to get something in the mail. Well, two somethings. And you're not going to be able to read that text anyway from this resolution, most likely, at least not on the YouTube video. These are two scripts from the original Sailor Moon. What is it? Dub, not sub. So
Get out.
back when they dubbed it, these are the scripts that they used to dub it, with all of the various inside notations for what to do when and how and why.
You want
We
me
have
to
to do
wake up
something with
Ed?
those.
Yeah, we do.
You want me to wake Ed up?
Yes.
Oh, he already knows.
Oh, I
Oh.
mean he's. Oh, okay.
No, he was on the inside end of this because I was given the opportunity to get some, and I didn't know which ones were the most interesting or relevant, so he had to look at the list and say, that one.
But do you want me to wake him up so he can actually see them?
If he wants to see the physical copies, he can. I sent him a PDF version this morning that he's seen.
Ah. CJ's showing off the Sailor Moon scripts right now.
You know what we need to do, right?
Does it have to
No.
do with your skit?
Not necessarily. That's up to you.
Have
Oh.
the measurements now.
But I say we take a Not Suitable for Word Ninjas podcast and recreate one of those scenes, one or several of those scenes in that script.
Well, for reference, we have the episode A Friend in Wolf's Clothing, which has both male and female voices. And then you have The Day of Destiny, which was the first season finale, where they defeated Beryl, which is basically all female voices because it's all the Sailor Scouts and whatnot. So, depending on how high-pitched we want to go.
I have a pretty high falsetto range, so
I think I have a decent range, but I don't know what to call it.
But yeah, those were definitely inspirational, and it's fascinating to see just how they do the behind-the-scenes stuff for the voiceover coordination. I didn't really know what to expect, but it's interesting the sort of notes that they put in to figure out the timing and stuff, at least for back in the day when they did this and the technology they had to do it with. So, and we do have PDF scans of it. We may do a higher res version going forward at some point, and we'll get that up somewhere at some point to share with people and let you all know once it's up. We're still figuring out the logistics for that.
cool.
But yeah, that was exciting.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Roland Parliament, the English voiceover for Melvin. I think it was. Marvin. I forget the character's name now. Shame on me. But yes, enough of that. Onwards to events. It's not May yet, so nothing really up on the horizon. But you have Book Expo and BookCon right next to each other at the end of May. We're slowly figuring out stuff for Kineticon. I'm slowly figuring out stuff for ArchiCon. Inconceivable and Hartford Comic Con are far enough away that I'm not even thinking about those yet. As always, the full list is in the show notes. We update them each week when necessary or appropriate or relevant. So if you want to know where we're going to be and when, check it out. And with that, hey, it's actually going to be a short episode. We're ending early. And Justin's not here to make a comment about it. Shame. Yes.
We end early when he's not here.
Wonder what that says about us. Well, yes, that is the end of the show. We've run out of, well, we didn't have talking points. We've run out of highlights. We've run out of productivity. We've run out of inspiration. So it's time to call it a night, start wrapping things up. As always, if we have entertained you in any way, shape, or form, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can watch, comment, and thumbs up all of our various videos, from the backlog of Word Ninjas Live to the ongoing Game Break series. We're tossing all sorts of stuff up lately, from Minecraft to Bioshock to VVVVVV. I think that's 6 Vs. A couple horror games here and there, a lot weirder games that for some reason I have, and more. Go check it out. And if you want to chat with us via social media, there is always Twitter, at FCWordNinja, and you get bonus points if you use the hashtag WordNinjas. You can go to our Tumblr page, fcwordninja.tumblr.com. And there's also our Facebook page, facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters, where we're averaging about 2 posts a day on just interesting writing articles that we spot throughout the day and the week that don't necessarily make it into a podcast episode. So if you want even more articles on writing, go check that out. And of course, if you want to help fund all of our crazy endeavors and sketches and recordings and appearances and everything, go check out our Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/fullcoveragewriters, where we have all sorts of shiny baubles for your literary and inspirational needs. And with that, it's time to start saying who we all are and where you can track us down on the internet personally if you choose to do so, if you're that brave. If you want to talk to me, my personal Tumblr is fancypantswolf.tumblr.com. My novel in the works, which is getting slower and slower every day, is slashandburntrilogy.tumblr.com. And 50/50 shot, you'll catch me on the Fairy Tale podcast as Makarov on 10 p.m. on Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on their YouTube channel. And where can people find Will?
You can usually find me on my personal Tumblr page at darkhom.tumblr.com. It's spelled DARKHOM. For information on my ongoing series, My Roommate's a Stripper, you can find that at myroommatesastripper.tumblr.com. And if you want to support my personal writing endeavors, you can find me at patreon.com/darkhom.
And how about Calvin?
You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at CCWII. You can find me on Tumblr at instacal.tumblr.com. And you can check out some of my musics at soundcloud.com/soundsbycalvin.
All right. Oh, comments. Why are there comments? My phone didn't tell me there were that many comments. And I don't like that one of the comments references Throne of Glass. Sad what happens in book 2. I'm only a quarter of the way through book 1. I don't want to know that sad things happen. I mean, it's inevitable that sad things are going to happen in this series. I can already tell. But no. Because it's going to be the characters I probably like. Bah. But yes, thank you for joining us for episode 87 of Word Ninjas Live. Come back next week for episode 88. Who knows what we'll chat about then. But until then, have a good night, everyone.
Night.
Take care.